Heidi and Frank show. A lot going on today. Bill Engvall's here in the Bristol Farms Game Room. He's an American comedian. I'm glad they put American on there.
Well, he's a comedy legend.
He's an American comedian, an actor, best known for his work as a stand-up comic. His signature, "Here's your sign."
That's right.
I do remember that.
Oh, my, it's great. Yeah, my dad and I used to bond over that.
And as a member of the Blue Collar Comedy Group. Is he here? I thought he was in Bristol. Ring the doorbell.
Let's get Bill in here.
Bill Engvall,
comedy legend, Bill Engvall. There he is. Look at it. Right there, Bill
You going
Engvall.
golfing later? Look at you. You're all ready for the day.
Hi, Bill. I'm Heidi. Nice to meet you.
How you doing, Bill? I'm doing
Oh, my goodness. You do look like you're heading
You got a tea time at some point. Hope we're not holding you up.
No, first off, I thought it was so sweet you putting on makeup.
Well, you know.
Before I came in the door.
Well, you know. You're a comedy legend. I figure why not? I don't know.
Comedy legend. Wow, I don't feel old now. I was listening to earlier, the girls said, I can't go out with guys that are like 40.
I know.
And she's 24.
And she's 24. I'm like, shut up.
Because she said,
I mean, I'm not the mean sweetheart, but it's like
right.
Older guys have money.
That's right.
And that's the thing that women recognize about women who date older guys. They know it's about the money.
But it is weird when you see like an older guy with a younger girl. You don't go, "Oh my God, look, his daughter looks so nice." It's like, dude, what's up?
Well, you have a daughter who's
I have a daughter who's 26. So it's
has
like,
that ever happened? If you've gone out to dinner and somebody went, "Hey, Bill,"
I'd have to kill him.
Right.
No, but they because Emily looks just like I do, so you can tell right off. But you know, you as a dad, you worry about that a little bit. It's like my wife's got a friend who they went to college together, and last year during the college football season, they just showed up, which you don't do.
Yeah.
You call ahead, so we can say, "Hey, we're not here. Leave a message,"
right,
or whatever.
Right.
But they showed up, and she's like in her 50s, and this guy had to be like in his 90s. I mean, the Mercedes on her car will still be good by the time this guy cacks out. And it was just like, really? And then of course, my wife says, "Why don't you take him to watch the game?" I'm like,
you got to hang out with him.
Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You guys have to bond.
And he can't hear.
Yeah, he can't hear.
No, I was saying that. Yeah.
We got great parking because of him. It was like,
look at you looking at the sunny side.
Yeah, isn't that what
this is good parking.
But this is, I got to tell you something. This is actually, it's an honor to be honest. I'm a big fan. I listen to the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
And it's very, very funny. That's the whole thing about the reality show, and I was like, oh my God. I go, it sounds like a great idea, but they're going to get videos of people going, "All right, so here's the deal. All right, it's me and like 20 chicks. All right."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, thank you.
What is your guilty pleasure? Like, what do you hate admitting that you love, TV-wise?
TV-wise?
Yeah.
I actually get hooked into the Duck Dynasties, and my wife's always like, "How can you watch this?" I go, because it's just kind of mindless.
Right.
It's just noise.
Right.
But, it's funny because I play a lot of casinos, and these guys get paid big money, and they show up in their gear, and
it's just for an appearance. They
yeah,
get
and
paid.
people pack it.
Wow.
I mean, they packed that casino to ask these people. It was like in the old days of the soap operas when the soap opera stars would go and make an appearance at a mall, and it'd be like 80,000 women going, "What happened to Janie?"
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's a show. We don't know.
Right. Yeah. You're so mean. It's a character I'm playing.
But it was weird hearing the whole the older thing, because it's weird that the show at the Terrace Theater that I'm doing. Let me get that plug.
Long Beach Terrace Theater.
Long Beach, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah,
what it was there was a 2-show thing. Then they moved it just to 1 show, which I was very happy about.
Yeah. So 8 o'clock.
Yeah. But because part of the show I'm dealing with now, that I'm writing, is I'm getting older. I'm in my mid-50s, and it's weird because your head still says, "I'm in my 20s. I'm very cool."
Right.
But then there's times that you just can't deny it. And it was a true story. I was down in Florida shooting a movie, and me and the director and the producer, we were going to go out for dinner one night. So we made reservations at this steakhouse, and we show up, and the girl working the hostess stand was just smoking hot. I mean, she was about 5'10", and big brown eyes, and she was endowed well enough her dad would be proud. And she was looking down at her little computer screen, and I said, "Hi, table for 3 for Engvall." And she looks up and she goes, "Oh my God." And I looked back at the fellas and I said, "I got this one." And I I said, "How you doing, sweetheart?" And she goes, "My dad loves you." Like, all right, well, we'll be ordering soft food, I guess.
That's exactly what Heidi said when you walked in. She's like, we're talking about, with seeing you, and she's like, me and my dad used to watch Bill all the time.
Well, my dad and I, because I love you, but my dad and I bonded over you. There's not a lot we bonded, but nice. I mean, like, we would do every time something, he would say it to me, be like, here's your saying.
Right.
And I'd do it, he'd say something, and I'd go, okay, Dad, here's your saying. I mean, that's what we would sort of bond over. That was our, like, little insight.
Well, that's not as bad as when people come up to you and say, I have been watching you my whole life.
Your whole life.
Like, what the hell? What am I, 90? But it's fun. And the show, I mean, I love doing stand-up. The acting and all that's great, but the stand-up is just, when you're on that roll with an audience, and it's really a cool, and it's funny because when I started this 30-some-odd years ago, you were like a teacher, right? You wanted to be
I
wanted to be a teacher but I couldn't handle the money and fame. Being a teacher.
All the cheering you get when you say good morning, class.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't ready for that. But it's been a great run, and I never thought it'd last this long.
Do you remember your very first time on stage? Was it like an open mic night, or how did it start?
I will tell you. I started out on open mic night in Dallas.
Because somebody said you were funny.
Yeah, I was working as a DJ,
okay.
but not like what y'all do, legitimate. My DJing involved the phrase, "Gentlemen, get out your wallets. Here comes Cheyenne." But. It was, they played a lot of Van Halen and AC/DC.
I was like, you guys. You were the legitimate ones. We were just doing this.
Those guys can get girls naked.
Yeah. Trust me, after a while, you're like, okay, hey, Dusty, it's great
if I see another set of Dusties.
How you doing, Dusty? Those look nice today.
Hey, Seven.
Airbrush? Yeah. So I got this job at the Comedy Corner in Dallas, and I was the MC. Basically, my job was to pick guys up at the airport, the comics that would come in. And it sounded really bad. My job was to pick guys up at the airport and show them the town.
You have come a long way.
But to pick guys up at the airport, and then they would do the show that week, and I'd MC the show, and then I'd take them back to the airport. And I got to work with some really, like, Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy and, just a bunch of great guys, and Shanley and Leno and Seinfeld when they were all doing what I'm doing now. So I was emceeing, and I had maybe 10 minutes of material. So when I was doing a show, and this lady comes up and she goes, we want you to do our convention. And I went, oh, awesome. She goes, we'll pay $300. What, back in the early 80s, $300 was really okay.
You were bragging about that.
So she gave me the directions, and, I show up, and then I had gone through, it's funny as a comedian, when you're young, you try to find out who your personality is, and so whoever the act was that week, you kind of took on their personality, and they're like when I was Seinfeld was there, I'd be like, what's the deal with, it's like, so it was like, and so.
What's the deal with stupid people?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, here's your sign.
That was exactly it. Like, it was like you were in the audience. And then Paul Mooney was there. I was like, oh man, I'm just a white man. I don't know what to do with myself. So I was, at the time, my phase was going, I was wearing jeans and a corduroy jacket with the patches and,
Professor Engvall.
Yeah, exactly. So this convention shows up. They give me the directions, and I drive out there, and it's a quarter-mile dirt track speedway awards banquet. So I walk in, there's these long banquet tables that kids are drinking beer. It's just, there's like a 3-piece country band on. Yeah. And the girl that hired me is just hammered. And she goes, all right, you're going to go around after the band. I go, okay, great. So the band finishes, no introduction. Here's a comedian. And I walk on stage.
Oh, God.
Yes, exactly.
Not even your name.
It was like, it wasn't even like a name or, here's a comedian.
You ready?
Yeah, so I did one joke, and a guy in the front row whistles, he goes, and gives me the thumbs down. He goes, you suck. And I go, thank you, good night. And I walked over to the lady, and she was blasted. She goes, you are great. And like, hands me my check, and I drove straight to the bank.
Which proves, if you get people alcohol, they think the night was fantastic. They're like, that was the greatest ever. And you're like, we didn't even do anything.
Yeah, there's, it's funny, for all the great gigs like the Terrace and, being on Blue Collar and doing arenas and stuff, you really do pay your dues. I remember, we did a show, this guy called, this was when Apple.
Can you hold that story?
Oh, yeah.
We'll tease that through the break.
Yeah. I want to know.
Bill Engvall hanging out with us, 1-800-95.
Fine, I'll just go wait in the green room.
the Bristol Farms green room. 1-800-955-5567. Come right back with Bill Engvall. We are Heidi and Frank.
That was just a little sample of the Heidi and Frank Show on 95.5 KLOS. To get more samples like this and hear all the fun we have, you can do that at 955KLOS.com. Now, to get the show in its entirety on demand, and if you want to watch the show, we webcast it every day, all you have to do is go to HeidiandFrank.com and become a premium package member. Do it right now.